Hello, hello, hello. Uh, Today we're here to show you a wonderful game called Colin Mcrae Dirt. It's certainly a racing video game that was once made in 2007. I am a failracer. I'm, let's say, I'm a runner who's trying to go as much variety as possible in terms of my speed games, while still upholding the quality of execution. And today, here with me is the man, the myth, the legend himself, the man who pretty much made the run of this game what it is, T-Fighter 1705. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, hello. My name is TIE Fighter. Like failracer said, I broke this game pretty much in half. There was
Yep.
already some discoveries before I joined. It's actually the only game that I speedrun. There is no other game, and only part time, just for fun. And to the game breaking glitches, we will come during the run.
Yep.
I will try to explain a bit how it works and what we'll need to do, and maybe a bit of the history while we are there. And yeah, the rest we'll see.
And I think before we actually start the run, we need to cover a little bit of the game structure to understand it a little better.
Yes.
Basically, we're going to be going through the career mode, and career mode is this nice little pyramid with tiers. In each tier, we're gonna have to complete a set amount of events. We're gonna receive money for them, and we're gonna buy cars. The difficulty is gonna matter, but not for long. And for each event, as you can see, you're locked into a certain class of cars, into a certain pool of cars, even. And that is gonna be important for later. And for now, we're gonna start when I hit enter the career mode. There used to be a cutscene that explained most of the stuff that I've mentioned just now. It used to last long. We've come to the ruling that we just use the save file that skips the cutscene. And now, 3, 2, 1, go. And here first off we select the difficulty and we go into our first event. Uh, did I misclick I think I misclicked the timer. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sincerely apologize. Okay, so it's numpad 0. Okay. It still does not. Yep. It really didn't want to be friends, so. It should have actually worked. Anyway, we go back. Let's pretend we've selected the difficulty, we've selected the vehicle, and now we get our first event. First things first, I go to the left from the very start to manipulate my opponents a little bit so that they don't block my way. And now
you're gonna reset quite close to the finish line.
Yep.
Go straight for 3.5 seconds and then left to the right of the bush, which will complete the lap.
Yep. And I think it's about the time you explain how the ultra shortcuts in this game work in general.
Yes, so as far as I know, it's more or less a time window of 6 seconds. And if you go close enough behind the finish line and reset close after it, it can work. But also, if you go close behind the finish line and then drive off on the track in a time window of 6 seconds, and if the distance is great enough.
Yes.
What failracer just did now is the car swap glitch. Is he took a car from a different event, like he explained before. You are normally locked with just a few cars that you can use. You can bypass this quite simply if you go into an event and just exit the event quickly and go to the other event. Then you can have
Then the game
different cars.
does not have enough time to swap the car select screen. And right now I'm attempting to perform the hardest ultra shortcut of the game, which is, for me personally, it's San Isidro.
Yeah, it's quite annoying because you need to put the barriers quite perfectly. And you need to be fast enough over them.
Yep.
So you don't lose too much speed and be still in that
Yeah.
6-second window.
This 6 second window exists because after a manual reset, or any reset really, you... Excellent. You get a window where the game does not allow you to reset manually, and where the game is a little bit confused as to where you are. So in this time frame, if we can force a reset like that in the correct zone, we can force a lap completion. Which what we just did in the first event, which is a core race, and which is what we did in the second event, which is a rally raid race. Basically, this game has a lot of different disciplines. So far we've had core, rally raid, and rallycross, which all of them are circuit races. And well, every single circuit race in this game pretty much has an ultra shortcut or a shortcut of some sort. We'll get to a different type of shortcut a little bit later. And now, for the first time in the run, 4 minutes in, 3 races in, we get to some actual driving. This is a racing game. And yeah, for... if you've run racing games for as long as I have, which is almost 7 years by now. I've started this in 2019 with Need for Speed series. If you've run racing games for that long, you kind of start getting questions as to how do you even run a racing game. Basically implying that pretty much all of them you just drive. And yeah, of course you drive fast, because racing games are pretty much some of the purest forms of movement games there are. It's just that your player model is a vehicle. But then there are some absolute gems, such as this one, that give quite a peculiar answer to this question. But for now, for this event, which is a hill climb, that's basically a fast-paced sprint event through the mountains. For now, we're driving, but the very next one is another rallycross, and another rallycross means another ultra shortcut. And yeah, because of this time window that we are limited by the 6 seconds time window for actually getting such shortcut. Because of that, sometimes we need to work as a track janitor to actually be able to preserve speed into the next reset zone. So here, 1, 2, and 3. And those are all the laps. And this has been the first year, which usually takes around 13 minutes if we were to do it normally, but this way it takes just about 7. And I think now we can talk about some more of the lap skips, because as T-Fighter said, they differ from track to track, and about people who discovered them. I think it's time.
Yes. So that one wasn't discovered by me, that I know for sure. I think
the previous one, yes.
You are right now at the
Croft, yeah.
Yeah, both of them were not discovered by me.
Yeah.
That was basically at a time where I was a bit inactive. This one is now quite the opposite to the core map, where you go close to the finish line and reset far after it. You go into a zone far behind the finish line and into one that is directly after it. So the game gets confused in that window of time and sets you back to your old point behind the finish line. However, since you passed already the finish line, the game gets super confused because it thinks you completed the lap.
Yeah.
And that is basically how all of them are working, except for
the crossover ones, and
yes.
except for the old way to do a certain core map. But we'll get to that. I'll actually attempt to showcase both ways. And yeah, Croft and Knockhill were actually discovered by Rares. And Rares is pretty much the individual level king of the game. He grinded most maps and he set some incredible times. Both rally maps, hill climb, whatever you can think of. And yeah, he contributed to this goldmine of glitches by discovering the initial ways to skip Croft and Knockhill. And yeah, there are still some shortcuts even in the rally stages which do not have laps, which are basically the good old case of displaced reset zones. And I think for this map, for Okfen, it's been in the game for the longest time. And I think it's been there before any one of us started running. So here I also used another car swap glitch to have this beautiful car Toyota Celica instead of Fiat Punto, to have a little faster race time. And as for the car swap glitch, it actually has a bit of an interesting story. For the longest time, I've wondered about there being a car swap glitch, because upon some career restarts, I've been getting a different car on the first event, and I wondered what could cause that. And at some point I asked in Colin Mcrae chat, as wondering as to what was the cause. And Coyotl, another amazing runner of this game, he volunteered to do some research, and he actually ended up finding the car swap glitch and the mechanic behind it, which is what I've been using in the previous event, just swapping the event fast enough in the correct timing so that the game does not register that you've changed the pool of cars for the event. And the funniest part is that the car swap glitch Coyotl discovered is still not the car swap glitch that I've been experiencing, because that one happened between the save reloads, and I still have no idea about it. But what I can say is that I haven't experienced that one since. And yeah, this car swap glitch, it's timing based, which means you can only go so far from one event to another. However, Will Treaty, yet another community member who's contributed a lot to this game, he he found out that you can actually chain those car swaps, because you can transition one vehicle select screen from every single event to every single other event you have unlocked. So far as you have a vehicle unlocked, you can get it to any other vehicle in this game, any other event in this game. And we're definitely gonna be taking advantage of that. As you can see, this event is another case of a rallycross race. We've had this rallycross race, but with a different vehicle. And that's pretty much how this game creates variety, getting you to do similar events in the same events, the same races, but in different cars, and sometimes spicing up the race pool. And here is another rally raid skip, which I think T-Fighter, it's the perfect time to talk about the latest additions to the game.
Yes. The raid skips are by far the latest. They took ages to discover, even though they are quite simple to execute or look simple to execute. There is basically no real creative or good way to do them or to find them. It is always just resetting the car, hitting into an area, just fumbling around for an hour, 1.5, and at some point you find something that sticks, and then you can improve it. The first time you normally discover the skip, it is a really cursed, difficult setup, which you then improve over the next few days or hours that you have. But
And that's what impresses me so much about you as a glitch hunter, that you basically have this courage to go and bang your head against the wall without
yeah,
any sort any sort of clue as to what might work. It's genuinely
yes,
very impressive. And
the
there's another reason the rally raid skips have taken so long to find.
which is because before we had the car swap glitch, it was always only possible to have the cars that are meant for the event. So in the raid events, it is the T1 and the smaller T1 class, which are both relatively slow compared to all of the other cars. With none of them, these skips are possible, which is why there was never any big investigation on how to get them to be done. Also, there was just, I think, one mandatory race where we needed to do rally raid, and at some point none. So
Yes, at some
there was no
point
big.
the rally raids just withered away from the any percent route. I think the one I did just now, was the one mandatory one that we couldn't get around. And now, since you found the skip, we just do what we did. And as for this crossover, it's I think it's the oldest skip in the entire game. As far as I'm aware, it's been known ever since the demo, which is crazy to think about. And
But
yeah.
I think was not known like this. I think it was known as a bugged finish that when you do the second lap, you don't need to turn
Oh,
around looking
right.
that
You're
burst,
correct.
but just drive into the wall and get the race done. And we are abusing right now the reset mechanic as well to confuse the game on where we are.
Yes, it actually gotten improved somewhere around the time Matic, the old king of this game, ran it. Damn, it's been ages. When you think about it, it's actually kind of crazy. And now we get to Bark River. Maybe if you recall, I've mentioned about the old way to do one ultra shortcut not being the standard for not being the standard one, and now I'm trying to showcase it.
I think you need to be one more groove to the right. You
Oh,
were too fast.
you could be right, yeah, and it was pretty rough. It was, I'd say, uh, the the hardest ultra shortcut in the game, where you just need to hit the reset trigger just right. And you need to hit the trigger that counts you the lap just right. Thankfully, along with the rally raid skips, T-Fighter has found a much nicer way to do the skip. So as you can see, right now I've counted the first lap. Numero uno. And yeah, you have to be really mindful of all the reset zones around the area. And there are pretty scant visual cues which I'm utilizing right now. And we got both laps. It's a fair bit slower and a fair bit more difficult than the current way, which we'll get to showcasing the current way in a little bit. But I really wanted to show it off as a piece of the game's history. And now it's something I just want to do for the fun of it. You can explain what just happened. And yeah, I'm gonna drive in this cam for the entire event.
Since this car was never ever meant to be on this track, I would guess there was some programming issues with the wheels. It happens with some of the cars, not with all, and it's quite rare. It's more only the rally raid and the core vehicles on the crossover maps that loses the wheels. They are still there and working, but you cannot see them, which is quite the funny visual cue.
Yeah, quite a fun visual glitch. And I think one more class of cars that loses their wheels upon car swapping them into crossover events. One more class like that is rallycross supercars, which is what I've discovered recently when messing around. If you say car swap Citroen Xara into one of those, it breaks just like buggies do, or other rally raid cars. Although it's not as noticeable and funny as in this case. And in just 20 minutes we're done with 3 tiers of the career mode, which is wonderful.
I will be right back.
No worries. And for the upcoming event, the car swap glitch, it offers you variety. Basically, you can pick up cars that might be a little slower. However, they might be much more comfortable for you personally on a certain set of tracks. And this event is such an example, because it's a little bit slower to take your time and take Celica to this core event. However, it makes one of the races in it, one of the race skips in it, much more comfortable. Not this one though. This one actually requires a visual cue. So yeah, pretty difficult skip because of the suspension of the car not really being meant for those bumps. Let's say this. So I use that bush that's more to the right, as my visual cue. Unfortunately, I'm, as they say, throwing it a little bit, not getting the correct reset. But we'll get through it no problem in just a little bit. So 1 and yeah. But the next one, the next race in this event, Celica actually makes much easier, and I'll show you why. Okay, that's kinda crazy, but that's what you get for getting a stiff suspension car into a bumpy track. I might actually have to redo the race, but such is the fate of a marathon run in a way. Thankfully, my estimate covers all of this and more. So we get to the reset spot again. We reset right before the finish line. We set ourselves up like this, and we fly over the reset and don't get the 6-second window. And
I don't know if it's easier for you, but sometimes I do this in the camera that shows the car from the top, because then you can see the bush.
Yeah,
even
from afar.
Which makes it maybe a bit easier to line up.
And I think, if I recall correctly, this Hula Vista A being as well being the first event in the game that we take on, it also is the last event skip you've ever discovered before raids.
Yes, that is correct.
It was a sort of divine revelation, if you will.
Yeah. There were always some ideas on Chula A to skip, but none of them I could do successfully until this one happened. It's because on the other tracks you reset quite differently. You abuse more or less the system of the tracks being close to each other, and you go from one side of the track to another while resetting quite close to the finish line. So since that is not really easily possible here, the ways that I tried before were not really working. However, at some point I found this one.
Yeah. And it looks so silly and a little bit random with how it works. And it's a little bit rough in Celica because of its suspension, unfortunately. I think I'll try once more, because I really want to showcase Bark River, the new way to do Bark River with Celica. But if need be, I'll just retire and swap to Silverado. It's actually a fairly consistent skip. Just for some reason, I guess, marathon moment, I've not been getting it today. And yeah, with all those skips in place, the game completely plummeted from being almost 3 hours to then 2 hours, then under 2 hours, and with the current route the record is under 1 hour and a half. And it's been one crazy journey, let me tell you. Yeah. I think the safest bet is to do this one in its intended vehicle and then
Chevy.
face the consequences of my own actions on Bark River.
On Bark River, you can also do the new method. You just need to
Yes,
push the barriers away first, which
uh,
loses about 10 seconds, more or less.
yeah, it's just that new way Bark River. Basically, the reason I picked Celica is because personally, New Bark River is much more comfortable for me in
Mhm.
Celica rather than Silverado because of how tight that corner before the finish line you need to make, and because of Silverado fishtailing a little bit.
Mm.
And thus I, in my runs, in actual PB attempts, I make the choice of picking Celica, suffering a little bit on Hula Vista A, and then having a much easier time on this track. So what we do here is we break the barriers, and then I might not make it in this window, yeah. Okay, yeah. As you can see, the 6-second window dictates very precise execution of those racing lines. And with car swap, the game basically allows you to pick your poison with those tracks. And finally, I've actually done a Honda run recently, and I don't remember experiencing this much of a problem. But really, in speedrunning, you just roll with the punches. The runner indeed is failing, and at the very least, I can say I live up to my name in that regard. There's actually a pretty funny story in regards to my nickname, because I, funnily enough, picked it up from a Need for Speed Let's Play. It was back when I didn't really have a PC, and then my my way of choice of experiencing video games were Let's Plays, and the person playing the game messed around with calling themselves different personalities depending on their driving style in the moment. Some of those personalities were like Pro Racer for great execution, Evil Racer for going aggressive on your opponents, and then failracer, which kinda stuck with me through all those years. And here I'm once again showcasing the old way to the Bark River, because unfortunately this event hasn't been treating me nice. And it's not even treating me very nicely with the old one. But the old one, you kinda go with it, because you need to pick up a very precise lineup to get reset correctly, as well as pick up the lap trigger. Okay, so just a little bit more, and we're good. From now on though, I'll be able to show the new way. So, as for the next one, it's another crossover map. And it's a funny case of displaced reset zones. Um, there is a zone where the game just places you in a different lap on this track, which I believe is another crossover skip. I believe all all crossover skips aside from Australia and Germany were discovered by you, right?
Yes. Italy was actually the first one that I ever found, and the original way of doing it was even more ridiculous but a bit harder. It was to go after the finish line, there is a left corner, and if you would go right to the off-road, there is a wooden fence where you can drive against and it will break. And there is a small gap where the game will not realize that you are going through the fence, and you will just skip to the second side.
Yeah, where there isn't any reset zone.
Yes. This one is way easier and really forgiving. You don't need to line up perfectly. You can crash into the silver barrier. This one is really just yeet it in the corner, reset your car, and that's it. You
Yes.
could also see on the mini map on top where the car and the opponent is that the game swaps the active track to the other one as soon as you are close enough.
Yeah, to the
You will see
second
that
lap.
this white line will skip. Yes.
Just in a second. So, right here, as you can see. And now we reset, and now I basically teleport right into the second lap. What's the next event actually? We'll have to see.
I'm
Thankfully,
not sure.
thankfully, those animations are long enough that you have time to
To
see
see.
where you need to go. Oh yes, it's European Group B Classic. It's another case of rallycross events with skips. Here we're gonna be doing Croft and Knock Hill again, which each of them again are gonna take just about 30 to 40 seconds. And even more importantly, we are getting our hands on Lancia S4, Lancia Delta S4, which we're gonna use later on. Actually, in the current route, probably not as much. However, I'll also be showcasing some different events. Let's say this. So what we do here is we again clear off the tires so that we can make it in the time window.
And since there is
We
a
go yeah.
since the 6 second time gap is neither decreasing nor increasing, no matter which car you have, it becomes super more easy with a faster car like the S4 than, for example, with the Impreza, or with a rally raid cars. You are not even able to do this
Oh
skip
yes.
because this car is just too slow.
Yeah. And that's another wonderful thing about Colin Mcrae Dirt, that the car swaps actually allowed for some skips to even happen in the first place. So not only, well, let's say this. At some point, at least I personally really did think that the car swap glitch in itself is the final nail in the coffin for this game. However, I've been proven wrong at least 3 more times. 3 more times for each rally raid map.
Yes.
And one of those rally raid maps skips. It's so ridiculous that it's only really possible with 2 cars in the entire game. And with FTO, I personally haven't been able to accomplish that particular skip, but TIE Fighter was able to.
Yes.
And now,
And the reason.
yeah, yeah, it's just it's another moment of working as a track janitor. Just pushing the barriers. And yeah, about that one skip you wanted to say.
Another thing for this map that on the beginning I thought was impossible is that you will be able to do it with different cars than the hill climb monsters. Because in the beginning I could only manage to do it with the Celica, because my first setup was not to reset where you do right now, but further to the rear. And the only car that had the speed to do this was the Celica GT. And then you showed an easier way just to fly with the Celica over the barriers to the left. And I thought to myself, well, if you clear all of these barriers,
What
maybe
if?
you
Yeah.
could do with a different car, and that is where we are
This
now.
game is honestly something else with these. And Silverado, despite being basically your starter car, makes an absolute joke out of some of those rally raid skips because it just has enough power.
Yep. The top speed is not the best, but the acceleration is quite good for that car.
Yep. So
Which before raid skips, I hated this car, but now I kind of love it, to be honest.
yep, Dirt is home to quite a few enemies to lovers arcs. Let's say this because as you just told us, you went from absolutely despising Silverado to loving it. And I had an experience of my own with this because there's the Italian rally, which is unfortunately no longer a part of the any percent route, but it used to be in the era before all those glitches were found. And that one I used to really dislike, along with the car you were supposed to use for it, being modern Stratus back in the day, the intended one. And then at some point I just sat down, grinded it out, and practiced, which really made me appreciate how the tracks are structured, what they demand from you as a driver, all of that.
The main reason for that, because with the Italian race I had the same, is that you will drive it with rear-wheel drive cars, which are super difficult sometimes to control on the bumps if you stay on the throttle. And the Italian rally is notorious for quite bumpy,
Yeah,
jumpy.
bumpy roads, sharper turns, and with a car prone to spinning out, it's a little bit of a nightmare. At least at first it is, before you learn to control it proper. And this La Vista B is another one of those funny tracks which have undergone a very interesting evolution. Mind telling us about it?
Yes. So how failracer is doing it now is quite simpler compared to the first setup. It does exactly the same. However, I did not find this reset zone. There is on the right side of the track, there are barriers. And normally what I did before was go behind these barriers and just drive until I get resetted, and then I was on the correct point. And to this track, this was also not done before like this, but
Oh,
at some
yes.
point
This one is special.
to be honest, I realized while falling asleep that I don't know why, but maybe it is faster to do this one in reverse,
Yep.
which it is. Before you were driving the lap normally, and then go
Do
and do
this lap skip,
uh,
but then the manual reset at the start line resets you all the way back, and it turns out it resets you all the way back almost to the start line, where you can do just one more lap skip, but it is still much faster than going all the way back uh, through the part of the track the game intends you to. And here I'm going a little bit off of the current 20% route, because in the current 20% route we do another raid skip at the start of this tier. However, I don't want to show you the power of car swap. I want to show you a little bit more of Lancia Delta S4, which is a very fun car to actually drive when you get to drive it. And a chance to show you Pikes, which is another hill climb event. And this is a section of Pikes, the second one, with the letter B, and the track as a whole is probably my favorite track in the game. I have spent hours on it with a certain car we'll get to a little later. Yeah.
Yeah, just Pikes Peak is an amazing track. And later on, when we get the Pikes Peak monsters, or the hill climb monsters that I call them, they are notoriously fast, have really good acceleration, power to weight ratio is crazy.
The cornering power.
The cornering power is crazy.
Yeah, because of the downforce, it's insane. That's why they have those crazy wings, yeah.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll get to them. But even like this, with a slightly slower car that still has enough power, it's still a great test of your driving abilities.
Yes.
Which is the thing you don't see too often in the current 20% route, which is funny. So, if you were to count the races in current 20% that don't have any sort of shortcut or skip, I think it totals to about 5, which just speaks to how long of a way this game has gone through.
I think it would be a bit more than 5, because in the final race you need to drive three tracks now.
3 tracks: Comoro, Pikes, and San Isidro. And yeah, well, we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that when we get to that, because it's an interesting one. But yeah, otherwise, pretty much every other race has a skip. Or some kind of shortcut based either on the absence of reset zones or on them being slightly displaced, such as the case with certain German tracks, which also used to be a part of any percent route. And here we have buggies, since we're intended to utilize buggy in this race. We actually have wheels. And now we again do the knockhill skip. Once again, shout out to Rares for finding this one, finding Croft, finding Australian crossover one. Man's the goat. And now we get to Circus des Dukes, which was optimized by Coyote. Actually, a lot of the tracks drag skips, they followed the same route of optimization with the runners. From you, then then it goes either to Coyote, to myself, to Rares. Basically, someone finds a track skip, then it gets cut down, gets optimized, fleshed out, and so on.
Exactly. Because the base setup for this track was a lot more weirder or complicated, where you would go next to the water and reset off the track, and then go pretty much straight until you hit a sign in a specific way, and then get resetted on the behind the finish line.
Isn't it wonderful that most skips are now standardized and much less cryptic? Well,
Yes,
most of them.
most of them.
And speaking about bikes, speaking about actual driving, speaking about hill climb monsters, we have an extended version of bikes which includes segments 1 and 2. And I think I will try to log in, and I'll give you the space to talk about the car, the general track layout, and whatnot.
The car itself, the FTO, I don't like. It is, compared to the Celica, for me at least, the cornering, it is much more difficult to get it inside of a corner. The Celica is more
You're
easy.
not alone on that.
More easy to set up into the corner, and with the FTO you need to be a bit careful because it tends to understeer a bit, at least for me. Other than that, it is a fast car. The Pikes Peak in general is a super fast track with long straights, few corners, long straights again, so you need to be super careful on the braking points, because if you are not, I don't want to put panic here, I think you did not decrease the difficulty.
Yes, I did not. I decreased it around tier 7 before I get the Celica.
I decrease it already here because that is a point for hill climb races exclusively. I
Yep.
think
I think
is
yeah, it's only hill climb thing.
if you go off the track on specific points, it will be counted as a totaled car, and you need to restart the race.
Yeah, non-recovery zone. Actually,
Yeah.
you reminded me of something. It's actually not an exclusive uh,
Yeah, in
to
circuit to do if
yes,
you
yep,
drive on.
the old setup. Yep.
There was once an idea to go on the easiest difficulty. That's why I asked about the difficulty. In every difficulty except the easiest one, there is terminal damage or non-recover zones where you cannot or where you need to restart the race. However, on the easiest, you cannot total your car or get stuck in this non-recovery zones. There is no terminal damage, which is normally you are not supposed to go off the track, but
Yeah.
everything can happen. And at this point of the run, we have enough money to buy all of the cars that we still need to buy. So it is just a safer option if you make a mistake that you will not get punished by losing 2 to 5 minutes of progress
Yeah.
because you missed a corner. And that's the only
And
reason.
that's the thing. I personally thought that you still need the money. I never did the proper money routing with all of the changes, all of the car swaps, all the vehicles we actually skip purchasing.
Because we
So
have way too much money now, which sounds strange, but there is so many cars that we do not need to buy anymore like before.
yep.
There was just the loan from the rear wheel drive cars. There was the R5 and the new Stratos, which were both together like 1 million more or less.
Yes.
Then there was the X3 for 600,000.
Oh yeah, for the rally raids.
For the rally rates. I'm not sure which one else is what there, but
We used to purchase Aaron Holly Super Buggy. If I recall
yes,
correctly.
yeah, for sure. That one you don't get for free.
And
You get the first one.
C4. C4
Yes,
was a staple of the run up until car swaps were discovered. And I'll actually attempt to show the C4 skips in instead of one of the events on tier 7, because that crossover skip, which we now do not perform because due to ultra shortcuts that have been enabled by the car swap glitch, due to those shortcuts, that specific crossover map that only appears once in the entire career mode, that one is no more the fastest option. However, it is probably, out of all the absolutely ridiculous skips in this game, that one is, in my personal opinion, by far
the
the most
most ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we swap our hill climb monster uh, into rallycross to perform skips just a tiny bit faster and have a little bit more leeway on some.
Yes, that car skip will not save a big ton of time, but you lose 4 seconds to get the other car and you will gain 10, 12, 15
Depends,
seconds.
yeah.
Yeah. For being a bit faster, so this is a small improvement, but an improvement nonetheless, which is, I guess, what speedrunning is all about.
Yep. And generally, the car swap glitch just allows for way more options. in general. And yeah, there's one silly name we have for this glitch. ACAT at home. Wanna explain what it means?
I think you need to explain.
Okay. Basically, since the events are generally looked to a specific pool of cars, for the ILs, a modification for the game has been developed.
Yes, now I know what you mean.
Yeah. Called All Cars, All Tracks. Abbreviated to ACAT, which allows you to utilize any vehicle on any track in the quick race mode. And since this glitch right here allows you to utilize any vehicle on any track from career mode, we basically call it all cars, all tracks at home.
Yeah, now it makes sense. I
Yeah.
was
Yeah, I should have been clear about what ACAT stands
yeah,
for.
no worries. I have this file also on the game because it is a lot easier on the quick races. If you
Yeah.
are experimenting with the trucks to
Yeah.
get all kind of different cars and just see what sticks, what works, what doesn't.
Here is an example of just routing differences in the current state of the game. Because there is an option I theoretically could have picked, but 10 out of 10 times I choose not to.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is fair. If we go into the real theoretically space, then there is this event more or less takes a bit more than 2 minutes.
Yep.
With loadings, let it be 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And there is
The menu
a rally
send,
race.
with the countdowns, like the
Yeah.
lights for the countdown. Yeah, it takes about 2 minutes.
And there is a rally rate map that if you would execute the skips perfectly would just take 1 minute and 25 seconds. However, one of the two maps is so finicky that neither of us have ever managed to get 2 skips in a row on this 2-lap race. And I tried it in my last speedrun that I did. And instead of spending 30 to 40 seconds on the map, I spent 4 minutes. So I lost quite a lot of time doing that. But maybe sooner or later we'll find a better way or get more comfortable with it. And
Yes.
and
And
it will get replaced.
I think it speaks a lot about the difficulty of that specific trick with that specific car, because we are gonna do that rally raid skip later, but we're gonna be doing it basically with the fastest available vehicle in the entire game. But there's an option to do it with Mitsubishi FTO, the one we were doing Pikes Peak with. But it really speaks to the difficulty of the skip that TIE Fighter barely ever got it with any sort of consistency. And I personally never even gotten it once.
The issue with that map is the zone that you have for the reset is really tight. If you go from my lineup more or less a little bit more near the finish line, it will not count the lap. And if you go a bit further away, it will
reset you at
It will
the
reset
finish
you from-
line instead of back and counting
Yes.
the lap. And what also complicates it a lot is that the part we need to drive through is very rough off-road, and the only type of vehicle that the skip is even possible with is the weak suspension hill climb cars. So it just becomes much more difficult. Especially when you lose power, as with the comparison of Silica GT and FTO. And yeah, this right here is Citroën Zara, which is the second to last car we ever purchased. Well, depending on the route you take. Because I personally also like to get Audi Quattro from Pikes Peak and then swap it into the Rally Raid exhibition. It's one of those skips where car swap actually enables it. And here, unlike in the current route, we're actually gonna purchase C4, and it's fun time. Mind explaining?
Yeah, so that map is quite finicky on the lineup. There is no reset involved. Or no manual reset involved. However, you need to be fast enough to hit a bump that will push you up in the air. You will see soon. It will push you up in the air, so far up that you will not hit the first reset point that will set you on the correct side of the map where you are at the moment, but you will hit the second one on the other side that will basically skip the second lap of the race.
And
Which was
yeah, it was a very rough spot in the run. Well, let's see if I can do it 3 times in a row.
you will do it. I have faith in you.
Okay. Okay, this should be. No. Sometimes you just don't gain enough height, basically. And the reset zone counts you as being in the first lap still. Okay. I think
You are going too far to the right, I think. You need to go more to the on the sharper bump side. I think.
Yeah. It's a little rough, and when it damages your car enough, it naturally prevents you from gaining enough speed. But I'll get it.
That is normally another reason why we crank down I crank down the difficulty.
Yep.
Because the lower the difficulty, the less damage your car will.
Even on a rookie, you can get wrecked a lot by this specific bump.
But it is a bit safe.
Apologize. I apologize for the background noise. It just do be the consequences of living with the dog. Sometimes he gets loud. Okay. Yeah, even getting to that side, if you don't fly over the reset trigger high enough, it's, yeah. Yeah, and it's just getting enough height. I think I might take the option of showcasing this trick once, then retire, and then picking up a safer event.
I think you should not steer to the left so much like you do,
Yeah,
because like you don't
it's
gain.
I'm basically doing my old setup that I've always been
Mm,
doing, and for some reason it just
try it
it,
once to not
yeah,
steer
yeah,
left
basically going,
on the dark gray part,
yeah,
roughly. And another issue that is
yeah,
sometimes overlooked for me is that if you are too slow or you need too much time, the ECU will finish the race.
yeah.
The bot will finish the race,
As you can see,
and
he's
then
almost at the finish line right now.
and even if you get it, if you are
Yeah.
second, you're out of the race, and there's no point in.
Unfortunately, I do think for actually getting the run to finish proper, I'll have to retire from the race. If anything, when I get Silica GT, if I have enough time in the estimate, I'll just showcase it like that. Because as it is right now, the event is no longer part of the race, part of the 20% trial, because it gets replaced by this one, and it gets replaced by
Yes.
rally raid exhibition. Although even in the Honda run, I managed uh, to mess up that one specific crossover skip on the first of the 3 rounds so much that I ended up having to perform the lap casually. So that's one more potential improvement for the career 100% round. And yeah, there is another showcase of Cool Vista B skip and Crandon. Just completely abusing the reset system as hard as we can. And turning those almost 4-minute tracks in just 40 seconds. And with that, we're almost done with tier 7. Only thing left is
Keep going, dude. You got 2 more events open to you.
Rallycross.
yes, rallycross that normally you should do uh,
With the rally raid.
yeah, with rally raid cars, but we just pick a rallycross supers car for a rallycross track. Just looking a little odd out here. Basically, the reason we need to do this car swap outside of just being faster is that the third ultra shortcut, which is Knock Hill track, is simply impossible with rally raid trucks. This one we can do, but the last one is not possible, and it used to lose so much time that the C4 crossover was the more viable option, despite lap skips being pretty much at our disposal. Oh, and yeah, just want to mention a funny thing. Remember when you said about said about non-recovery zone and potentially
Yes.
losing minutes of progress on hill climb race.
Dale clamp, you can do the same on the circuit to do.
Yeah, but it's not like we're currently playing with the entire run on the line.
Yeah.
Mind explaining why?
Why we are not on the verge of losing the run?
Yeah, every single race, every single living moment.
Yeah.
Basically, we have autosave off. So, if the game decides to crash, that's all the progress lost. Same with the 100% run. I used to lose 100% run like 3 hours in with an old route. It was devastating, but I learned to live with it. And yeah, right now, if at any point the game crashes, I lose all my progress. However, as a backup measure, I do have a practice save file, which basically has all the tracks unlocked. So, if need be, I'll just re-enter the game and follow the game's route, the 80% route, through a completed save file. However, I have performed a magic ritual for myself so that this game does not crash for me, mostly. The magic ritual consists of not having OBS directly hooked to the game. As you've probably noticed, due to the timer fumble that I had at the start, I'm utilizing display capture instead of game capture, so that not too many things are hooked to this beautiful game at the same time. And the second part of this ritual is prior to the run, going into the task manager, and for me personally, setting the game's the process priority to high, and setting disabling the last two cores. For some reason, it makes the game much more stable. Although the funniest thing is, in order for the game to even run at all, in order for it to let you into the races, what you have to do is you have to go into the hardware restrictions file. Yes, there is one, and edit it. Or alternatively, deleting one hardware restriction file and then renaming another to the one you just deleted. It's just some multi-thread magic that this game works on. It really works on the belief of the player that the game is gonna work. And yes, this game had a QA team. Unfortunately, you're not gonna see the names of those beautiful people in this run, because the 80% which ends on just completing the Champion of Champions, the 11th tier, unfortunately just doing the 80% does not unlock the credits. As for the credits, you actually have to complete every single event in the game. What's funny though is Will Treaty, one of the contributors and one of the runners of this game, as well as the person who made the auto splitter and the load remover for this game, for which I am eternally grateful. Will Pretty and I will actually looked up LinkedIn of the QA lead for this game, and the QA lead he actually worked on some subsequent titles in the Dirt series, such as Dirt 2 and Dirt 3, which actually have similar lap skips to crossovers and ultra shortcuts. Yes, there is some marina rallycross skip in Dirt 2 and some crossover skips in Dirt 3. Yes, and he also happened to have worked on a game called Grid Legends, which is another project of Codemasters. And Grid Legends also has a lap skip, which is a little different, which relies a little more on the rewind mechanic in that game.
You keep winning like this, there's no
And it's still a lap skip, and it was a fun time tracking the path he trailblazed. And we just got ourselves Celica GT, the fastest car in the game, and we're pretty much gonna use it for kind of the rest of the run. What can you say about this wonderful car?
Except for that it is the fastest car in the game.
Yeah.
It handled super well, even though it is a hill climb vehicle, where you would expect that the suspension is super hard. It actually takes bumps kind of okay, or better than you would expect.
Better than many.
Yes. So this car is just amazing. And that is the reason why we take it everywhere where we can,
Yep.
as soon as we have it unlocked.
And I think what I'm gonna do, I think I have more than enough time to show a couple things. Basically, I think I've reset a little late. Yeah. Yeah. As you can
You went
see,
one bar.
this is a very good demonstration of you resetting a little too close to the finish line, ending up in not counting you on the lap. So that's why we need to carefully track the spot.
I would guess, I never dig through the game files or anything, but I would guess that there is a key checkpoint quite close to the finish line.
Yep.
That if we are behind it, it will count the lap, but if we are not behind it, then the game will realize that we did some shenanigans that we are not allowed to do.
Yep. My friend Will Treaty, my best friend, he actually dug through the code for certain things, and the funniest part he found is that the game actually stores your modem info. Yes.
What?
Yes.
That is great.
The game is built different. The game is very much built different in that regard. You know, The company who made this game is called Codemasters, but in the player base they have a little bit of a different yeah, a little bit different name. And funnily enough, it does not come from dirt being that broken alone. It comes from all the other projects they worked on, because they managed to do some silly stuff in all of them. And yeah, the name being Code Monkeys. Yep. It just do be like that. Affectionately though. So, we have left, we have how many tiers left? This was tier 8, so 3 tiers left. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go off the current route again to just showcase how crazy Selka GT is on actual driving parts. Because at some point the game was in my favorite state. There was one point where we had the car swap, but we didn't have rally raid skips. And this way, this late game Australian rally, it hasn't been overwritten with a rally raid skip. And it provided a much needed skill check right by the end of the run with some real high-speed driving. And I just enjoyed a lot how much these particular tracks feel with the car. Unfortunately, as of right now, as of the discovery of rally raid skips, this set of tracks has been relegated to 100%, which honestly, in my personal opinion, as of right now, 100% career is the more interesting category overall, because it provides much more actual driving. It provides a lot more challenge in certain spots, and it really tests your manual skills with some of the craziest car swapping chains that you need to perform with quick menuing in order. However, there's also that one spot, besides any percent being a little bit homogenized, and besides 100% taking a little too long, there's one sweet spot that has both driving and some of the skips, while still maintaining short length. And honestly, if anyone ever decides to get into the game, the perfect entry would be the championships category, which basically you drive a few rally stages in the country, and then you perform a crossover level, which every single one of the crossovers has a skip. And it pretty much provides the necessary balance between driving skips and decent length. And yeah, I think as we approach the end game little by little, it's probably the time we explain what's the deal with the last year, right?
Yes. So the last year is a combination of 6 races with 6 different cars of all categories that exist in the
Yeah,
game.
every
So
single
we have
discipline.
we have rallycross, then we have crossover, then we have the normal rally stage, then we have I think then it's hill climb, then it should be
Rally raid, hill climb, and
like this,
or
yeah, core.
as a capstone. Yeah.
And for whatever reason, most likely because that level specifically is coded differently, the car swap is not working for the last race. So you are forced to go with the 6 cars that the game is giving you.
And it's gonna be interesting for a certain reason. But yeah, first off, we finish this rally, which is a great skill check. Wish we could go to the era where car swap was a thing and where
Raid wasn't.
yeah, where raid swaps, where raid skips didn't force this out of the 80% route. However, such is the evolution path of the game, which I do accept and I do respect, and I hold immense respect for every single person who's contributed to this game becoming what it is today, becoming something special. And speaking of maybe having different routes, we kind of have been throwing around some ideas. Because there is a potential if there's interest, basically.
But the
Yeah.
potential would be to go without the ultra shortcuts, but still be allowed to take any car into any event, which would make the run faster than it was before, but also quite challenging because it looks kind of easy, but to control something like the Celica on a track where it was not meant to be driven is quite hard and takes some training to get it properly done.
I've actually played for a long, long while before I started really having a feel for the game, and that was even before any of this was found. And yeah, this would put the game's length closer to 3 hours. And then there's another option. Where you remove the car swaps, but you retain all the shortcuts that are possible. And
So
yeah, yeah, listening.
the only issue with introducing these categories is that there is, at least at the moment, not such a big community around this game, which would be lovely if there would be more people running
Truly.
this lovely game, and to open up a category just for 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 guys to run it
Yes.
would be a bit wasted is the wrong word, but
You keep winning like this, there's no
not super necessary.
next event.
Yeah, it would result in a little bit of a leaderboard bloat. But
Yeah.
as you can see, even such a small but dedicated community of runners has been able to bring the game this far, cutting off almost 1.5 hour of the run and completely changing how the game is played. All over the course of like, I believe most of it was found over the course of like 1.5 years, I believe. I actually don't remember it. Even though I have the progression of the game clear as day in my mind.
You cannot pinpoint the time.
Yeah, I cannot pinpoint the date. And I've gotten actually super lucky with the skip that with such finicky resets I still got reset back with my laps counted. And yes, if you're wondering what kind of stuff I replaced with the rally in this specific showcase, it's pretty much more of the same. Stuff like rallycross maps. That's what I was saying about the run being a little homogenized as the evolution progressed and the game necessitating the fastest events. And yeah, this is the fabled skip that we talked about all the way back when driving FTO. Yeah, I might just restart this, get 2 in a row, while you can explain roughly how that works and why it is one of the most difficult parts of the run.
It works in the same way as most of the other skips work, that you go far away from the finish line and drive over it and get resetted. However, on this map, the big issue is the only available reset area close to the finish line is off the road between the wall and this yellow railing, which is tight. Plus there are these stones in the front. If you don't go perfectly over them, you will get stuck and will not work. Or you could, like we see already, it happened twice. You will get stuck or you crash into the railing, or you crash into the wall.
Yep.
The lineup is quite narrow and really finicky to get to work, which is why we would classify this one as the most difficult.
One of the most difficult. I think San Isidro with Silverado still takes the cake for me, but yeah, it's crazy. And of course there's the FTO.
The FTO is the most difficult for sure on this specific map. However, I think the Chevy is not difficult. It's just annoying.
Fair, yeah. Just
I would say the last map is quite easy to understand the basic of the skip, and on the other one it isn't, because you need to push the barriers quite precise in this and that way. But as soon as you are done with the setup and you know how to do it, it is not so bad. The other one, however, you understand the setup quite easily, but to execute it is really, really finicky, and also punishing. If you are getting it once and then go into the wall, then you can restart again and you need to get it twice again.
Okay. And now, I've noticed my shenanigans and choices actually led to me being very close to the actual estimate. I chose to run the rally instead of some other skips, which saves a lot. Chose to try and showcase C4 and so on. So right now I will be
Pretty close to the
yeah, pretty close to the 2 hour mark, but I'll try my best to make it work. Basically, as if it isn't the consequences of my own actions. Okay, at least Celica, it makes an absolute joke out of Crandon, out of Hula Vista A, out of anything here really. It completely decimates those tracks, even if we don't count in the skips. You know. Yeah, I thought I would it would result in this
Yeah.
on the first one, but it's always redoable. And yeah, if you get not far enough from the finish line, you again will not get your lap counted.
And what I normally did, at least on the core and the rally raid maps, is to find a point where I can reset close or far from the finish line and then get again reset to that point, and then just closing the gap slowly until I get a lap counted, or opening the gap until I get the lap counted.
That's actually a very smart way, very smart approach for actually hunting for those lap skips. I commend you for that.
Because otherwise, before I was just throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks, and then experiment with that. But after the crossovers, after the rally crosses, after the few core maps that we already found, you could start to see
A pattern.
similarity, pattern between all of them that they shared, with either resetting on the finish line and then going off the track, or resetting far away from the finish line and then going over it with a reset, which is why the rally raid maps I found all within one day, within I think
Yeah.
2 or 3 hours more or less.
Yes, it was basically like that. I believe you've started with Lower Otay Lake, right? Or was it San Isidro?
No, I started with San Isidro.
Okay, yeah, so basically it started with San Isidro Mountains. I didn't even manage to properly go crazy over it. It was then just... and another one. And another one. And then,
And then
and
another
in
one.
between them there was a vast improvement to the Bark River
Bark
lineup.
River. Yes. That one I actually found or got the idea on 2 or 3 runs before that, because I was going with the Celica, the race before where we did the core. I was so pissed on the last lap where you go over the finish line and the race
Yep.
is over, that I just binned the car between the finish line into this house. The lap counted, obviously, but after the race was over, I saw that my car was resetted behind,
Yep.
far behind the finish line, and then I got the idea. I was like, maybe maybe you could do it like this.
Yep.
And for this map, normally there is also a skip that saves around 15 seconds.
Yep.
However, it has gotten to some sort of a meme that you will not do it, because we are afraid of not
So-
getting it and then losing
so-
20 to 20.
How do I put it? I did not pray today. Basically, this skip consists of going backwards from the start line and bouncing on a small bump
Like,
of
yes.
the track. And what happens if you do it correctly is you get to the start of the next lap instantly. But the thing with Subaru is that it has a long enough wheelbase that and soft enough suspension that it becomes a little difficult to actually get the bounce proper and get enough height to go over
Over the railing.
yeah. And now I'm on the rally raid map. You might be asking yourself, you're on the rally raid, why are you actually like, driving? Why?
Well, it's because that the raid cars, the fastest one, at least from our past experience, should be the X3. However, even this one is far, far too slow to do this skip. And I did some investigation with pushing some more railings, going closer. I am not even getting close to the 6-second window to even maybe manage to get this one. So at the moment we are just come to the conclusion that this map will never be able to be skipped with the raid vehicles.
Isn't
Because
it
technically,
ironic
yeah, it is.
that pretty much you really can skip the map with the vehicle intended for it? And
That is really
don't even get us started on the, I believe those are T4 or
yes.
T4 trucks, yes, like actual trucks, actual Dakar Kamaz. So we're actually driving on the track, and I think it should give you the perspective of just how much we skip. And
And how much time we save.
this is without even showing the other rally raid maps, and this is without showing like intended crossover scores, etc. Yeah. So we just do 2 laps in Montero. Then we have the only C4 race in current route. And afterwards
We have the boat.
we have the boat, and the track is the goat.
Yes.
I still like that boat.
Yeah, me too, but it is sometimes.
It you know,
It feels hard.
if Toyota Tacoma is a boat, then FTO is a paper boat, is a paper ship,
Yeah.
just because of how easily it falls apart. And I will have you all know that there was a time when it was like old route, and it was a time where I never bothered to switch off the difficulty because I didn't know the differences. Can you guess what once happened on Pikes Peak with Tacoma? Just a wild guess.
I would take the wild guess that pretty close to the end,
Yeah.
you missed the corner, flew off, and lost nearly 5 minutes
Yep,
because you needed to
pretty much
restart
the
the race.
entire run.
Was just thrown out the window.
It's just such a vibe. Honestly, uh, just looking through the lens of hindsight, looking at the game, at its history, gives me such nostalgia.
Hmm.
Especially because I've been here, I've been running it since roughly 2021. My inspiration for running the game was Kyoto. Yes, the same person who ended up uh, discovering the car swap glitch, and it went basically like this. I was a big fan of his Deus Ex Human Revolution runs. Uh, that game being the reason I discovered him in the first place. And then at some point, after following him, I have discovered that he suddenly went to play this one little obscure racing game that is Colin Mcrae Dirt. And then I went in, I've learned the game, I've run it for about a year in 2021. Then went out to do some other projects, then went on to come back and finally beat Matic, the then GOAT of the game. And afterwards I pretty much retired. I think it was like 2023 when I got a 253 run in there via better routing and execution. And at some point later, I honestly struggle to remember when exactly, TIE Fighter started running this game. The first batch of skips that he found being crossover skips, which spurred me back into action, which spurred me back into running the game. And from then on, it's real history. This game, yeah.
For me, the big inspiration for this game was actually I wanted to speedrun a racing game, and from my childhood games there was Colin Mcrae Dirt, and there was Race Driver Grid.
Oh wow.
And I stuck with Dirt first. I don't know why. I never did a grid run because I just checked the world record speedrun, and for the first few races you're just going into the race, quitting out, getting a bit of experience points, and do the same for like half an hour until you are far enough, and then you drive the last few races, and I was like, okay, hell no.
And
So I will not do.
you know the funniest part? Dirt is like one of the only, if not really the only CMR game, CMR slash Colin Mcrae rather slash Dirt game that is not influenced by the retire skips.
It was weird because on the Colin Mcrae rally games you can withdraw from an event. You will not get any points, but you will go to the next race, which can save a lot of time. If you have like 5 or 6 rallies, you can withdraw from 2, and if you win all the other 4, to just win the overall.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this one just reverts your progress completely.
Yes.
if you try and retire. So maybe that was one of the reasons you kind of stuck with it.
Yep. And I did my first run I remember was a 3:10 something. Because I did wanted to do my own routing. I wanted to have the experience of checking the maps, the cars, which ones are the fastest and whatever. I made a lot of mistakes, but nonetheless. Then I tried to improve a bit. I went to a 308, I think, and then I was looking at the leaderboards at the 253. I was like, hell, how do they get these? I copied the route. I got to 3 hours or a little bit less, 2 hours 59 something, and then a thought stuck in my head. I was like, okay, I want to have this world record for this game, but my driving skill is not enough, so I need to cheese it somehow. I saw then on the runs that there was a crossover skip in
Yep.
Germany,
The
and
first
then
one.
and then I just sat down and checked all the other maps. Italy was the first one, then came Japan, and then Spain, I think. I think Spain was the
Yeah,
last one.
yeah. And the
And
craziest one.
and it was always more or less like this that failracer hold the world record until I came around the corner with a new skip. And I took the world record for a short period of time, let it be a week or two or three, until he adapted the run, and then he was again ahead of me. And then I
And
needed to find
we
a new
kind
skip.
of just traded back and forth. And
Yes.
at some point, you actually ended up beating me on nickel ground. When it was when the run just uh, when it just went under 2 hours, where we
Yes.
both had 157, and I remember being extremely excited about you getting it.
Oh, that is amazing.
I'm just glad to see this game have more activity. Glad to see more cool people and
Yeah.
more cool runs. And yeah, just a small word of warning, I'll be like roughly 30 seconds overestimate because of certain decisions I myself made. Yes. I hope it will not be too much of an issue. And
It should
yeah,
be fine.
I think while we approach the end of the run, the way I'd summarize Colin Mcrae Dirt as a story of a fairly small group of people extremely passionate about a single little game they took immense interest in, and it's a story of that small group of people, uh, mainly TIE Fighter, pushing the game way further than anyone thought possible. And I think there's a distinct beauty in it. And now
That's
we make it to the last event. The only time in the game we drive another Toyota Tundra, which is an alternative to Silverado, and we do the skip for Bella Vista A, just like we did at the very start of the run. A very nice rhyme, in my opinion.
yes. That it is.
And yeah, different cars, all the different cars we use for same tracks. Sometimes they do necessitate different lineups for the skips. And just like that, we need just one more
Once
hit
more.
of that reset zone. Wouldn't have it any other way, honestly. Wouldn't have it any other way. Just like with this game in general. GG.
GG's, good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to show this wonderful game. And I think the last thing before I go, I just want to once again shout out to all the wonderful people who's worked on making this run what it is. Obviously, my co-commentator TIE Fighter 1705, Coyote for finding multiple skips optimizations, for finding car swap glitch, which completely turned the game on its head. Rares for finding a lot of the skips and just generally and being the driving force for keeping me and many and well, not many, but some other runners interested in the game. And last but not least, Will Treaty for again contributing optimizations and making load remover and auto splitter for this game, which made it much more enjoyable to run. And with this, I say goodbye and the fighter.
I would say goodbye as well. Thanks for having a look on our little niche game. It is amazing to run. Sometimes it is really painful, but
It's worth it.
it's worth it if you get a properly nice run.
Yeah.
Then you are happy like hell.
Thank you once again and see you.
See you.